All right. Hello. Welcome back in to another wonderful Sunday. And today at the table, we are playing yet another gorgeous game. I love a game with a lot of theme, right? You know this. Um, but this is Shallow Sea. Shallow Sea is a game about rebuilding the Great Barrier Reef, or at least trying to do your part to restore the Great Barrier Reef. I realized I didn't paste my normal chat thing, so I'll do that real quick. I'm going to go off camera, but I'll keep talking about the game while I'm off camera. So Shallow Sea is this beautiful new game, just showed up at my door. As you can see, that's the box in front of you, and then the board set up behind me. Um, I can't say enough about this treatment. It is just a stunner. You are playing, your job is to essentially build out and structure this Great Barrier Reef such that it is as beneficial to the wildlife that live there as possible. So, as I was saying, we are rebuilding or building a part of the Great Barrier Reef, and we are doing that in a way that we are trying to synergize the different types of coral and different types of kind of habitats that these fish and other sea creatures want to inhabit. And when you're playing multiplayer, of course, the one who does that the best by the end of the game wins. In solo, which we'll be playing today, of course, we will be looking for a certain point total. Now, if you're playing the base game, that point total, it's a chart really to see how well you're doing, right? The point totals are different depending on whether or not you're using the base game or whether you have some of the expansion content. I have some of the expansion content in today. We'll talk through a little bit about what I have going on. So I'll remove this box now so you can kind of see the full experience. So this is the player board. It's currently got some cards on it, which will not be there during the rest of the game. I'll talk through what those cards are in a moment. But I really appreciate the variable setup of this game. I think it's going to really help keep the game fresh and keep you wanting to come back and keep playing the same puzzle, because it won't be the same puzzle every time due to how much variability there is. And the expansion adds even more levels of variability. So what do I mean by that? Well, on the player board, the cards that I have here are a representative sample of what's in the tile bag. This is the tile bag for did I drop one? I did. This is the tile bag for the different coral that's in the game. It's very big. It's by the way, the art is beautiful on all three of these bags, which you'll see in a moment. This bag has all the different coral tiles in it. This bag is you seed this bag based on the number of players. This is the fish bag, and these are all the different fish tokens we'll be drawing out of this bag throughout the rest of the game. We'll talk about that in a moment, how the game works. And this is the sea creatures bag. This bag has all of the tiles that are specifically sea creatures and how they work. And so we'll be drawing from all three of these bags throughout the game. I just wanted to show off those bags a little bit because I think the artwork on just the components on these bags, and by the way, the build quality even, it's beautiful. The component quality, including the bags, beautiful. And so I'm just showing you those bags because the way the game works is you're seeding those bags based on the number of players and based on the types of tiles that you choose to play with. And what I mean by that is like for every game, I think you pick, is it 4 or 5? No, you pick this many. This is 10. You pick 10 different types of sea creature that you're going to be playing with. And then there's a distribution of those, and you have even some flexibility in that distribution. So you're always ensured that you're going to be generating a flexible, like a balanced game. It's always be balanced if you follow their distribution rules, but you have some flexibility. I want a few more of these and a little less of that. And you can still do some of that if you wanted to really tailor the mix of sea creatures in your game. But if you just want to generate a quick game and go, you can just use their distribution rules. And as long as you don't go above the max of a certain type, you'll always be assured to have a reasonably balanced game that you can enjoy. And so that's kind of what I did is they give you a deck of cards to help you in making that decision. But they also, if you don't even want to use the cards, you don't have to. They also give you storage trays, which are just nothing but sea creature tiles. And these storage trays are great. They're organized by the types, so you don't even have to think. You can just go browsing for what you want, and you stick it in the bag, and you get playing. But I used their cards, and I used their rules, and so all I did was just draw a certain number of the A cards, a certain number of B cards, a certain number of C cards, and so on, and until I got the distribution of 10 sea creatures that it called for. And I shuffled up those decks ahead of time to try to keep them as evenly distributed and random as I could. But one of the things I also did was ensure that I did take a couple of the base game, like starter game tiles and things like that, just because it's my first game and I don't want to overload myself with too many different like advanced capabilities. But there are a few things in here that aren't part of that starter set just to keep it spicy. I also have the expansion in, and the expansion is this board up here. You can't really see that, but I'll pop over. Where are you? All right. Button, work button. There you are. This board here is the expansion board. This is the sea turtles, and we'll be doing sea turtles nesting season. So we'll be dealing with some of that. Really, what this does mechanically is it gives. It's kind of a race to some of these scoring objectives. And it's not like the first person who gets there is the only person who gets the points. You just get fewer points if you get there later in the game than earlier in the game. So you want to try to, it's an efficiency thing. You want to hit these targets, but you want to do it as earlier in the game as you can to try and get as many points as you can for that. And I think in a multiplayer game, I think only one turtle can occupy one of these spaces. So the first one to do that, of course, gets the more points. But the second place player in a 1 to 2 player game still gets some points. So you're not out of the game entirely. So anyway, this is a race to certain objectives. These are the end game, the communal end game objectives. These 2 cards over here, these were also drawn randomly. Is that blurry to you? Let me take a look. No, it's not so bad. I think you can see that. Well enough anyway. Okay, so these are the end game objectives. I can show them on the close-up later when we get into them. So everybody is going for these, but there's no time limit on these. So this is kind of like the general rules of the road for this game. But you're not just scoring points on these, so you can maximize on these if you really want to. You can also gun hard for the expansion capabilities or targets if you want. But all the different tiles, especially the sea creature tiles, they have their own scoring rules. So if you just focused on really nailing the requirements on all of these tiles, you could probably score a ton of points just doing that. Of course, you can just be a generalist and take advantage of what comes your way and make the best out of what comes out. And I think that's really the art of this game in Cello Seas. And I will mention, this has on BGG only a 2.0 weight rating. So I might be describing things in a very complex way, but it's in practice, it is not a very complicated game at all, as I think you'll see. There's some flexibility also in that you're not stuck if you end up drawing things that you don't necessarily need or can't use, or you need to put it in a place that isn't optimal for you. We have seashells along the top of the board. You start with 2 of them and you can gain up to 5. So I have my 3 others here. And those shells can be spent to break certain rules or move things around, as you'll see. So there's some ways to kind of to get flexibility. Plus the way the game plays, there's actually inherent flexibility built into the game. It's actually very elegant. So, so you'll see what I mean as we go. But I just wanted to show these cards off because these cards, first of all, beautiful art, and also just kind of a showing and discussing the distribution of tiles in this game. But as you saw with the trays, there's a lot more different flexibility that you can, a lot more randomization, a lot more different types of cards to see, different tiles to see rather, every time you play. So every time you play, it could very well be a totally different type of puzzle based on that. So I'll take these away now and we can get to the board. So when we start, the board is almost blank. It is blank right now, but I didn't do one piece of setup ahead of stream because it is kind of a strategic decision. So it felt like more like the first turn. It's not really the first turn, but it's kind of like the first turn. So we'll do that together on camera. On the solo game, you also have this lionfish card over here. This gives you some additional flexibility with a bit of with some negative points if you abuse it. So you have a little bit of use, and you can do that throughout the game as many times as you want. But the more you do it, the more points you're costing yourself. So you have to be. It's there to help you, but it's also not there to be just leaned on and overly abused. So we'll get into how this works, but it's really just a way to get the right kind of fish if you're not getting the draw you want. So what do I mean by the draw? Well, if you've played games like Cascadia, where you're drawing like a set of tiles or a set of things, and there's like an offer row, and you're going to pick a set of things, and those two things come together, they're linked, and then you have to decide how best to use both of them on your player board. Similar idea, but I think it's even more flexible because this is our offer row, and there's five columns, and in each of the columns is a choice you can choose to make. You have to pick two of the three things in this column, but it always has to include a fish. So one of the things you're going to include is always going to be the fish in this column, but you're going to either pick this tile or this tile, but not both. So I might choose to take this tile and this fish, or I might choose to take this tile and this fish. Either way, the fish is coming along with it, but you're choosing one of the two tiles. So it's really a kind of an overlapping selection, if you will. The fish is always included, but it's one of the other tile. So, and every time we're going to make a choice during our turn, and we're going to play those tiles and our fish into our board, and then we're going to refill the choice that we made from the bags, and we keep on moving. Like I said earlier with the seashells, you can spend, one of the things you can do with the seashells is spend them to wipe one of the three types, whether that's coral tiles, that's the top tile here, the fish row, or the sea creature row. So if you don't like one of those rows, you can spend a shell to wipe them and redraw them. And when you do that, you hold the ones you wiped in reserve, then draw, and then put the ones you held back in reserve back in the bag. So you're not going to just be drawing the same thing back from the bag again, potentially. Let's see. I think we'll talk objectives for the game next. We have two main objectives, one blue and one red card. We'll pull these off for right now, and I will come back here. And then the red objective is called the Colossal Coral Reef. And this is 2 victory points per completed coral in the largest grouping of adjacent completed corals. In other words, you're creating a large grouping of completed coral tiles. The largest one is the one that gets scored, and it's 2 points per coral that's included in that grouping. So you're incentivized to have one large, massive coral reef. That's going to be the red objectives. I just forgot to plug something in. So there's that. And then the blue one is bountiful caves. And so this is 3 victory points per completed sea life located within the 10 inner spaces of my ocean being the player board. And so you can see the color is populated in the innermost boxes. So not the ones on the edges of the board, but everything in the center. So if I get a completed sea life tile in those inner 10, each one of those completed tiles will be 3 victory points in addition to their own points at the end of the game. Again, beautiful artwork, no? So there's that. Now let's see. Let's pop in over here and we'll take a look at the expansion. So this is the Nesting Turtles board. And as I talked about before, it's a race to get the better amount of victory points. But what we're racing for today, by the way, these tiles are also random. There's a stack for each color, and there's a yellow, a white, and a blue tile. So there's one of each for each game you play. This time around, we drew 5 fish of the same color, and that is anywhere on your player board. 4 coral of different colors, anywhere on the player board, and 3 different sea life completed. And by the way, these are always completed. You're not going to score them unless they are completed. We'll talk about what completing them means in a moment. So we're looking for 5 fish of the same color, 4 coral of different color, and 3 different sea life. And we can only complete 1 per turn, but that's okay. You're probably not going to complete all of them at the same time anyway. And you only have 2 turtle tokens, so you're only going to be scoring 2 of these. Yeah, so we're going to be aiming for those. Obviously, all these max tiles over here. This means if I only have 11 or fewer tiles in my ocean, I get the better points. So the sooner I can do this, the better, because every turn we're going to be placing a tile. So that means 11 turns or fewer. If I can achieve one of these in 11 turns or fewer, I'm going to get the most amount of victory points. Likewise, down here for the second place, as long as I do it within 14 instead of 11, I will get the fewer amount of victory points. Okay, so what do I mean by completing a tile? Well, if we take a look at, say, we'll make an easy one here. Yeah, we'll take a look at this tile. So this is a tile that, and what is this? This is a mantis shrimp. Cool. The mantis shrimp, this is somewhat of an adjacency puzzle. So you're going to put this in the grid, obviously, and it's 45 degrees. So you're going to have tiles here, here, and here. And so what that means is if I have coral, no, this is fish. Okay, so if I have fish on coral tiles, completed coral tiles here, here, and here, and they are different colors, then this will score. If by the end of the game I only have a few of these populated, I'm not out. It's not like I don't score this. What it means is I will score 2 for each one that matches the criteria. In this case, it's fish of 3 different colors. So if I have a green fish and a red fish here and here, then I will score 7 points. So, is it 7 points? No, it's 2 points. I'll score 2 points each. So it'll be 2 and 4. So I'll get 4 points for those 2. If I get all 3 of them done, I will get 7 points for the set. So if I get it all completed, then I'll get 7 points when it scores. And when it scores, it flips over and it shows you that mantis shrimp is now happy, and you get 7 victory points at the end of the game for that mantis shrimp. So this is a little target you give yourself. You take this tile and you go, okay, if I want to get these points, or at least some of these points, I got to get on those requirements and get that done. So how does that work? Well, let's say we took this, we take this coral tile. Like if we get this coral tile in order to consider this coral tile complete, we would need an orange fish here on this corner, and we would need a yellow fish here on this corner. Once we achieve that, then I'll come back here while we're talking. Then this coral tile is considered complete. Now, when that happens, this tile does flip over like the other one, and you get the completed side of the tile, which scores you 5 victory points. But importantly, what happens is one of these 2 adjacent fish that you had in order to make it complete, it moves in and it starts living here. So you have to make a choice. Which of these 2 fish is going to come off the board and start living here permanently? Once it does that, this fish is no longer able to be moved around. It's no longer able to be counted as adjacent towards anything. It's living here now. Only these fish that are on the edges are still in play for calculating other tiles that are nearby. But this fish lives here now, and that's that. That's a completed coral tiles. When you flipped it over and you have a fish living on it, that's that. Sometimes you have requirements that want different colors. Sometimes you have requirements that you want them to match. So if they wanted to match, you would want to put the red fish on the red tile, and now you have a matching pair. So that's how completing tiles works. So let me put those back here and here, which is where we came from. So I think it'll all make sense as we get to playing. So I think we're just going to kick right into it. This game should only take, I want to say 45 minutes, maybe an hour for most people when they're playing it alone. I'm narrating it and I'm walking myself through it. I'm going to be looking up rules in the book and so on. So it might take me a little bit longer than that to play it. But when you play it, it'll probably be played a lot shorter. Okay, we'll get into the solo lionfish card a little later, but if we even need to, we'll see. It might be nice. So I mentioned how when you move a fish into a tile to complete it, when that happens though, the space that fish occupied becomes vacant again. So that's a space now that you can then use to refill, put a fish back in that spot. And one of the things you can do is you can spend your seashells to move fish that are not on a completed tile yet, but in some other intersection, you can take that fish and move it over here. So it's like it swam to a different part of the reef, essentially. So that way you can position that fish to help you score incomplete tiles and maybe move that fish into a completed tile later that will benefit you in your quest to build the best reef. Okay, so when I said there's a little bit of setup left to do, this is what I'm talking about. When the game starts, every player looks at the sea life creatures, the sea creatures that are on offer in the market row, and chooses one to place on their board. Now, as I was looking at these goals and as I was narrating this goal here is about creating a large coral reef. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to want contiguous space. Now, here's the thing. This one is about having completed sea life on the innermost 10 squares. I don't think I can get all 10 of these completed because of the way the tiles intersect and interact. I don't think I can get 10 of them in here. I'm going to just shoot for these middle 4. That's what I'm aiming for. If I get more than that, that's gravy. But I think I'm just going to aim for these middle 4 for Bountiful Caves here. If I can get more, great. What that does, though, is it leaves this entire bottom band to be possibly created as a giant coral reef. Maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Some of the other sea life tiles may be able to be put in on top here. And those have a lot of, some of them, like this tile here, there isn't an adjacency requirement like I was talking about before, but there is a directional thing. So this one is saying, I want different colors going in all the tiles that are leading out this direction, up to 4 spaces. That's what that number means. So when I look at the icon, the paintbrush icon, I'm just quickly looking because I don't remember if that is color fish or color tiles or both. Let me just find one where it explains that. Come on, you can do it. You can do it, book. That is the one thing I wish this book had in it, which it doesn't have, is a full appendix that explains every single tile that you could have. There isn't a glossary or an appendix to draw from. You have to kind of flip around and look for examples where they've used that tile. And the iconography is as present in the book as you would hope either. They did spend a lot of time on an encyclopedia talking about the sea life itself, which I appreciate, because if you're going to make a game about the Great Barrier Reef, you probably should include a little bit about the animals that you're using in your game. And that's exactly what they did, which I think is great. There we go. Okay. Completed once all 4 colors are present in the indicated direction. Ah, yes. Okay. So like purple, red, green, and yellow. So I will need, as long as the conditions are met in the indicated direction, it does not matter if there are other tiles in between that do not meet these conditions. Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. And when we're counting colors, it doesn't matter whether it is a tile or a fish, as long as you have a representative sample of color. So this particular animal is looking to be a chameleon, essentially, and saying, I like a diversity of color. And so that's what it's looking for. In this direction, it wants all 4 colors in the game represented in some form or fashion. So that's what that means. So there is a directionality to that requirement, but it isn't so strict as saying these 3 spaces have to have that. It's just saying that direction, 4 colors. I can do that in 2 tiles with like 2 colored tiles and 2 different color fish. That's possible. I can do that in just 4 tiles or 4 fish. That's also legal for that tile. And I should mention the scoring on that is if it's incomplete, I get 1 point per matching condition. If I manage to complete it all, that animal scores me 7. So there you go. So, and the tiles are rotatable. You don't have to put them face up like I was doing. Like you can rotate them however you want, as long as it's a legal placement in the game to make it all work for your player board. And wherever we place this first tile is going to be where we build off of. So you can't just place a tile willy-nilly except for the first one. The first one you can put anywhere you want on the board. After that, though, that's kind of you're deciding what your starting position is. Okay, so I'm going to pick this tile. So this tile says I want 2 fish of the same color, or the same type, on completed tiles. And it's going to be this tile, or this tile, if I was to arrange it in that order. For if I get them both done, then it's 5 points. If I only get one, then it is 2 points. Notice there's 3 spaces, but it's only looking for 2 fish. What it's trying to tell me is that you can match the winning condition, the victory condition for this tile, in any one of those 3, or any 2 of those 3 locations. So I have some flexibility again as to where those fish are, but it's saying it needs to be in one of those 3. So there you go. So I'm going to take that tile and I'm going to stick it where? Where am I going to put that? Probably right here. And I'm going to flip it upside down. So what I did is I put that tile here. That gives me some placement flexibility because we're just starting the game, so I'm putting it here. Plus I talked about wanting sea creature tiles in the innermost sections, which is one of our game objectives. So, so I'm putting it here, and my target will be to get 2 fish of the same color on completed coral tiles here, here, or here. So I want that tile. That means necessarily that I am going to take that yellow fish that was up there, because that's the pairing that I decided to. Oh no, I take that back. This is the starting tile. So no, there's no pairing yet. But that does mean I have to draw another tile and refill it for the start of the game. So I will draw another sea creature tile, and this will be the new tile that comes out. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I did say you can see this all right, right? Yeah, it looks like it. All right, cool. Just want to make sure. All right. Welcome in, everybody. By the way, we're playing Shallow Sea, brand new game, just hit the table. And it is an adjacency / placement puzzle, but with a lot of flexibility and a lot more spaces. So you're not as locked in as a standard like 3x3 or 3x4 grid game is. And there's a lot more nuance to it. That lets you have a lot more flexibility. So I'm excited to get into it. Great art, by the way. Artist is Sophia Kang, and just stunning. Okay, so this is our starting condition. We got our starting tile in, and now from here we start taking turns. Now, I want fish of the same color. Well, there's 2 purple fish out there, so that might be an easy way to do this. Are there tiles that want the same color? Yeah, there are. Okay, so one thing I might want to look at in the future turn is to take this animal because it's looking for coral of the same color in 2 different directions. So that might be an option, but for right now, I'm going to choose this set here. Can't see that, can you? I'll come here. I'm going to choose this set. This is the one I'm going to pick. It's purple and a purple coral. So it's a way to match them together. So we'll come down here and let's figure out where we want to put these. Well, if you're going to be matching fish and matching, I'll put the area of the tile that doesn't have a matching color towards the bottom of the board. And I'll go ahead and put the purple fish here. So that satisfies one of the 3 colors. Now you'll notice this tile has 2 white corners as well. White is wild, so any fish color can occupy these 2 spaces here, and that will be considered legal and to help me complete this tile. So as it is though, that's it. We haven't completed anything because we haven't met any of the conditions of any of the tiles. Okay. That was our first turn done. Let's refill. We took a coral tile, so we'll pull a tile out of the coral bag, and we will refill it. And here we go. And then we'll take a fish out of the fish bag, and we'll refill that. Now, one of the other things that rules state is that if for any point you have 4 of the same color of coral tile or color fish, you can wipe that one of the rows for free, one of those 2 rows for free. Maybe you can wipe them both. If we ever get there, I'll look up the exact rules, whether you're wiping them both or just wiping one. But either way, you can, if you're getting stuck and you get this same like weird lopsided distribution, it doesn't make you suffer through it. Okay, so now next turn. What are we gonna do? Well, we need to place here and here. So what shall we do with that? Well, I want to place one here and here. Let's get purple again. Let's come over here and we'll get these 2. Again, let me pop out so you can see. So what I did is the purple, these were the purple pair, and I want to grab this. So I grabbed this tile and this fish, and then I'm coming down here, and I think I'm going to place that here. So now, am I going to place that there? Maybe it makes more sense to do that, because this side there's no other reason to put a fish right here so far. So on the other hand, if I do this, then this fish can help these other 2. So maybe it makes more sense to do that. Either way, this fish is going to go here. So what that does is it satisfies the purple requirement of this corner and the white requirement of this corner. So I only need one more fish on this side, and we'll be okay. Now, there is a placement rule I'm curious about when placing tiles. Can I place them on the diagonal? Because I believe diagonals are considered adjacent in this game. And that is the one question that I think I had from earlier. Place the selected tiles, right? Neighboring tiles, yes. Okay. Yep, I can. I can place them diagonally. That's cool. So if I wanted to, I can place them here. That's still legal. Okay, let's refill. We got a fish to pull, and that's a purple, and we have a coral tile to pull, and that is, I'll come back up here, we'll see that wider, and that's this one. Okay, so, so I'm kind of torn. Like, I could come here and put a tile, which would help me. I could put the fish here, and then that would complete this tile. Or I could continue to place over here to try to meet this requirement. I've already got the fish out to make these tiles meet this objective, so I don't really need to worry about matching and doing another purple tile here. So I might go for a different color. Or I might go for another objective too. Let's see, fish of the same color. Well, maybe I continue with my purple escapades. This red combo is interesting to me. Let me look at this. I might go this way. I'll come back and maybe put it away. But one of the cool things is like doing that, because now, yes, it matches up. But now if I put the red here, this helps to satisfy both sides. So that might be a way to go. But doing this without having it meet one of the objectives seems a little risky. Like if I took this shark later, I'm just trying to play around with this. That could work. That could work too. Okay, so I'm not out of the boat there. Fish of different colors, so I could put him down here, and that would be possibly getting fish of 3 different colors there. Okay. Okay, well, I'm not locking myself out by doing this. So let's just do that. Okay, let's refill. So the board's filling up quick though. I'm gonna need to be worrying about, let's see. So far I've got 2 fish of the same color, two coral of different colors, and only 1 sea life. So, okay, well, we'll see. Okay. What'll it be? Well, we need to get some red. There's a red one here because we need to finish this tile. We also need to get any fish over here. So maybe what we could do is we could take this tile, like I talked about before. I could come down here and place this here. If I do that, then I need to get 2 more purple down on this side. But that's not bad. And this would be halfway to my goal because I have 2 purple here. So if I can get 2 more purple coral on these 2 spaces, then I can satisfy the full requirement of that. So that's great. Why don't I do that? Okay. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yellow fish that corresponds with that, and I'm going to go there. Now that satisfies the last requirement of this tile. So I'm looking around, and I don't really have any goals or requirements that force me to have like a matching color fish on a matching color coral in this game. There are requirements like that in this game. So, and that might be what that requirement is actually. There is a couple tiles in here. No, that's just different. That's just fish of a different color. Okay, yeah, okay. So, because of that, I'm inclined to just put no, we want purple fish on here though, don't we? Because that's what these require. Never mind, ignore me. So this tile is complete. We're going to flip it over. It is now worth 6 victory points at the end of the game. And we are going to put a purple fish on this tile. And I chose that purple fish because it's not helping me to finish the objectives of these other tiles. These fish are. So we're going to leave them there until we have no other choice. So now we have a purple fish and a purple coral. That satisfies one of the 2 requirements on this sea creature, and it's one of the 4 requirements on this one. Okay, well, we got to refill. So we will green. Lots of green right now. Okay. All right. Oh, that's not correct. I pulled a sea creature tile. Okay. 2 of the same tile. And by the way, every sea creature in here for the solo game only has 2 tiles of the same type. So I've got both of this type of critter out already. In the same boat here. But that also could mean that I satisfy the requirement and then I put them both on opposing sides so they score the same tiles twice. That'd be kind of fun. And these are fish of different colors. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Could almost place that here, but I wouldn't want to. On the other side, I could do that and then put the other one here, right? And then have these 3 be the 3 that are being scored. And then I score them twice. That could be a nice way to get a lot of points. So that's an option. We do have that purple setup there, though. And it does have a yellow. So that's tempting. Yeah, we're going to go for that. we're going to take this purple coral tile and we're going to put it like this because we already have a yellow fish in that spot. So we're going to take the purple fish and we're going to put it in the purple fish spot. So now all I have to do is get one of those green fish and stick it right here, and this tile will complete. Oh, I should mention that I have a completed tile, and every time you complete a tile, you get a seashell. And I forgot to take it. That was my first one. So that's how you get more seashells. You can spend them for flexibility, and then you gain more as you complete tiles. Okay, let's refill. And we got purple, and we've got a coral. Okay. And that's another green. Wow. Lots of green coral up there right now. But no purple. I need one more purple, but I'll come out later, hopefully. What do I want to do here? You know, this tile is interesting. This tile says on the entire ocean board, the entire player board, I have to have 4 of the same color fish. Well, I'm about to have 3. So that's pretty good. And if I don't get it done, all of them done, I get 1 point each at least that I do get. So it's not a complete loss, but I'll get that for sure. There's already a purple fish over there. I just have to get it on a tile by the end of the game. Time is running thin already, though. The board's already like a third of the way done. And do I take that now? I don't know. I'd like to get a green fish, so maybe. I don't want to overthink this. I don't want to be AP prone about it, but we know that we also need to get this tile done. This tile is almost done, and then this one will score 2. So maybe it makes more sense to get a tile here. So we can get a fish right there. And this needs to be a purple fish, though, is the problem. So if I'm going to do this, it needs to be this set. And I don't really like that too much. Let's see. Yeah, I could do that technically. But getting this tile done is going to be a complete pain in my ass later. Is that really the thing to do? Maybe not. I think that might be shooting myself in the foot. So instead, let's draw a different type of tile. Interesting. So part of me is like, I could take this red fish, this red coral, and the red fish. This is still legal. And then I could take this other red fish and stick it here. And that would complete this tile. That's not bad. I don't have a problem with that, actually. It wouldn't complete this tile yet, but this would free up because it would go here on this red tile. Or would it? Wouldn't I just take the purple one and move it over there? Yeah, that's fine too. I would have to clear this red fish out at some point. So I could put a yellow one here and complete that tile, but that's not outside the realm of possibility either. So I don't mind that, actually. let's do that. Let's do that. Let's complete this tile. So this tile flips over, and I get 7 points for that at the end of the game. And now I have to decide which fish goes on here. I think purple, because that would satisfy this one. So we're going to move this fish over there. Now we have this purple fish on this red coral. But now what we have is this requirement said you need to have at least 2 matching fish on one of these 3 tile locations adjacent. I've now completed that. I've got this purple fish and this purple fish. That satisfies that requirement. So this tile now completes as well, and that flips over. That's 5 victory points at the end of the game. But these 2 tiles both flipped over, so I get 2. They are now completed, so I get 2 more seashells. I'm now out of seashells. I can't gain any more. However, if I flip a tile and I would have gained seashells, I can still first, the rules state you can still you can proactively spend your shells to do something, to make room, and then get those shells back. So you're not out of it if you would have completed it. As long as you use them now to move a fish around or to wipe the tile row or something like that, then you can do that. Then you can gain those 2 that you would have gained. Oh, like I said, purple fish. It'll make sense if when I do it. But okay. Okay. So we need a green fish here. To finish this one. We also need a purple coral to come out. We still haven't seen another purple coral tile in a while. At some point, I might wipe the row just to see if I can draw one, because I would like to get some of this stuff done. But is there a sea creature tile that I can put right here that would be beneficial? Yes, actually. So I think we talked about this one that needed 4 of the same color fish anywhere on the board. We're going to take this set. We're going to take these 2. And that's going to come down here. I'm going to fill that in right here. And this purple fish is going to go right here. Tricky part is I need the purple fish right here. So I'm going to need to put another purple fish here. And the only way to do that is to move fish using seashells. But we could do that. That's doable. So the reason I did that, though, is because I have 2 purple fish on coral already. These 2 are destined for these 2 as soon as I get them done. So that would satisfy this by having 4 of the same fish. So let's refill. And I got that purple fish into position. That's not correct. I did it again. We're going to draw the fish first. Okay. And then we're going to draw a sea creature tile. Oh, a seahorse. And this wants fish of the same color in the diagonal that it's on. So I could put that, say, here. By putting this fish here, by the way, that was a problem. I broke up my coral, so the coral's going to have to wrap around going that way. There's no other way, because my coral reef, my contiguous coral reef needs to get bigger. Anyway, I could do this, because 2 of the same fish color will end up here. That would be legal for that fish. That's an option. Do I need another red fish right now? No, I don't. So there is a rule, though, and I do have the seashells to do this. Seashells. You receive a seashell, blah, 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 blah. During your turn, you can use as many seashells as you want. Used seashells are placed outside the board when you earn seashells. Okay, you can use seashells to perform one of the following actions. Before choosing a tile and a fish from the pool, you can spend 1 seashell to refresh one of the 3 pools. Or you can, before choosing a tile and a fish from the pool, you can spend 1 seashell to take 1 tile and 1 fish freely, regardless of the combination. Lastly, at any point during your turn, you can spend 2 seashells to move an incomplete fish. So I could take the color that I need and the tile that I want and have them not be in the same combination. And I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to spend 1 seashell. Since I'm maxed out on seashells anyway, I'm going to take this purple fish, and I'm going to take this, what is this? This is seahorse. And we're going to put that here. Now, technically, I have to put this adjacent to the tile that I placed, I think. Can I put them anywhere? And let's take a look. I don't think so. Completing, placing. Okay, fish. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh. No, I can place the fish anywhere I want, as long as it is adjacent to my existing tiles. Aha! Well, if that's the case, since I don't have to place the purple fish here, I will place the purple fish there. There. So I placed this tile and I placed this purple fish. And I drew them from separate places because I spent a seashell to do that. So now this is considered complete as soon as this tile completes, which it will right now because I just satisfied the adjacency requirements. So this tile will flip over. It is now worth 7 at the end of the game. And now I have to decide which fish to put on here. Well, for now, I'm going to move in this fish. So it's going to go right there. So now what I have is I have 2 purple fish in this row, which now satisfies this requirement. I have two of the same color fish in this row, or in this line. So this flips over. It is now complete. Now I just completed 2 tiles, so I get 2 seashells. Well, I only have room for 1, so technically I could spend 1 more, but because I've already drawn, the only thing I can do is spend 2 to move a fish. Is there a reason to move a fish? Yes. I want to clear this space out so I can put a yellow fish in that location. So I think what I'll do is I'll move this fish here, even though I don't have a clear requirement for it, just to make it accessible to other things, but also clear that spot out. In order to do that, I needed to spend 2. So I would have gained 1 extra, so I'll just spend down to 1. So I spent my 1 overage, and then I spent 1, and now I have a net 4. What I would have done is first spent it and then gained the 2. That's how it would have gone. But either way, you would have ended up here. Yeah, okay, so let's refill. Fish goes here. Tile goes, a sea leaf, a sea creature tile. Okay. I don't think we've seen that critter yet. What does that one say? Let's take a look. I'm not sure I know that one. I think this is the fish and the tile are not the same color. And there needs to be 3 of those, 1 in each of them, essentially. I'll double check if that's what that means, but I'm pretty certain that's what that means. Let's see if I can find it. It's always a bit of a trick to find an example with the particular icon you're looking for in this book. It's a pretty decent book, but they just lack the examples of some of the storing combinations. Let's see. It might be an expansion tile too. I'll have to check. Not seeing it here, so let me check the expansion rule book. There it is, I think. Is it? Yeah, there it is. Complete once there are 3 or more completed coral tiles in the indicated direction, each with fish of a different color than the corresponding coral tile. Yeah, okay. Got it. So this one is not in a direction, it's just in adjacent tiles. But it's looking for 3, and it would locate in all 3. So I need to fill in all 3 of those. That's going to be a bit of a bear to get that done. And they are adjacent. So what do I want to do? Well, I need green fish and green coral. So let us, yeah, let's do that. I haven't seen purple coral come out in a while. So we'll take a green fish and a green coral. Now, which tile do we want? That is an excellent question. So one of the things I'm playing around with is like, do I go here? But then I just occupied that with a red fish. That's not going to help me. Do I go here? But then I have a conflict here. But as long as I put the green fish here and then use that to populate, then I'll free that up again. So that's an option. I don't have any of the fish out that match those colors, so I can't really even give myself a leg up. I could go this direction, go that way. Then I'd at least have a red fish that's already there, and then the green that I take. Now, because I'm going to put the green somewhere else, it doesn't even matter. But I could move that green later after I satisfied the requirements and scored it. That might be the thing to do. So, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that pairing. So I'm going to put that green fish here to satisfy this tile. I put the new tile here. And this tile is now considered complete because it's got the adjacency requirements. So we flip it over. That is now done. Now I have to move in something. I could move in the purple. It's down here. Then I would free up my yellow and my green to move somewhere else. That's probably the thing to do. We have 3 of our 4 coral for this requirement. And we just satisfied this requirement because we have 4 purple fish on completed tiles anywhere in the board. So that one's now complete as well. So we just got 2 more tiles complete. That's done. So like before, we only can gain 1. So before we gain them, I'm going to move some fish. I'm going to spend 2. We're going to move this green fish over here. No, we'll move it here. And I think that's all I have to do because I'm going to gain 2. 1 for this one and 1 for this one. So we're back up to 4. Okay, let's refill. Tricky puzzle. Ooh, orange, I'm a red fish again. My goodness, come on, purple coral. Come on, purple coral. Nope, green. Killing me. Maybe I wipe. I have enough seashells. Now seems like the time to wipe. Yeah, I'm going to burn 1. I'm going to wipe the coral row. So I set those aside and I draw 5 more, and then I add those 5 that I've set aside back into the bag, but after I've drawn. So that's yellow. Yellow. Purple. Got my purple. At least I got 1. Yellow again. Oop, 1 more yellow. And I get to wipe. But I don't need to because it's red. Okay, so those tiles that I put in reserve, they go back in the bag and get shuffled back up. So I get my purple coral. So I'm absolutely going to take the purple coral. Now, does this say once per turn? Or can I do it? Can I wipe again? I think it can only do 1. Let's see, seashells. No, as many seashells as you want. Got it. Yep, okay. So I'm going to spend a seashell and I'm going to wipe the fish row this time. So all the fish go away and then we pull 5 more fish. I'm hunting for a purple fish. Do I need to do that? I guess not. But since I've already wiped, we're going to get 4 more or 5 more fish. It's fine. Oh, got a purple fish that time. Okay. And then here and here. Okay, well, there's some purple fish. That's what I wanted. Well, let's take a closer look at this here. We definitely want to take the purple coral. Absolutely, because if we get this done, it's worth 10 points. Those are 3 different color fish. Yeah, why not? Oh. Complete 5 fish of the same color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Ooh. I don't think I can get that done. I've been ignoring that completely. 3 different sea life. Have I got 3 done? I do. I have 3 different sea life done, though. Oh, let's take a hold on. Let's take a moment to pause. So I have 10 tiles on the board, and I just completed, I recently completed this, probably last turn, I think. Complete 3 different sea life. 3 different sea life. I have less than 10, or less than 11, so I have 10. So that is completed now, done. So I put my sea turtle on this location, and I take these little pile of sea turtle eggs worth 10 victory points, and I put it on my ocean board just as a reminder that I scored 10 points for that. So since I've already scored this, I'm not going to even bother. I'm just going to flip it over to remind myself that it's done. And now I'm hunting for these 2. Now, 4 different colored corals. I don't have 4 different color corals. And I don't yet have 5 fish of the same color. And I don't think I can get it done in 1 tile. So regardless, I'm probably going to be scoring the lower value for the last turtle, unfortunately. But that's okay. I wasn't really paying attention to it. And I think it still worked out all right. So, okay. Now, back to what I was working on. Purple. Well, there's 2. This is a good tile, actually, too, because there's 2 purple fish out on the board right now. So I know I can do that. I haven't seen yellowfish almost at all yet, though. So I think this is a good tile to grab. So we're gonna take the combo. That's fine. Wombo combo. We're gonna do. We'll put him here. Nah, we'll put him over here to make him at least accessible. No, we won't. It doesn't really matter because I can put fish anywhere. Okay, we're gonna draw back up. Another purple. Come on, yellowfish. Come on, yellowfish. We don't have any yellowfish. Yellowfish, how about that? I think it's probably time to take this combo. We're going to take one of the mantis shrimp, and we're going to put that here. And then we're going to take the yellowfish that I've been waiting for and put that here, which will complete this coral tile. So we're going to flip that over, and we're going to move the red fish in, and then we're going to earn a seashell for flipping over that tile. And then we're going to pay 2 to move a fish, which will take this yellow fish over here where it needs to be. And that also frees this up to put a green fish here in a moment. I need another color, so I might grab this combo of yellow coral and green fish and put the yellow coral here and the green fish here. That's probably what I'm going to do next turn. This is a really chill game, by the way. I'm kind of digging it. As is usually the case, I have not played these games before I stream them to keep it as authentic as possible. That's the wrong tile again. I got to remember that part. Okay. All right. Two fish of the same color. I could take advantage of that. So, what do I want to do? I need the purple fish. No, I think we're going to take that green and the yellow. That's what we talked about, and I think it's the thing to do. Yeah, I'm going to take that combo, the green and the yellow. So the green we're going to put here, and the yellow we need to figure out. No, the yellow is definitely going to go here. I don't have any of these colors out here, though. That sucks. Where do I want to go with this? There? Maybe. I do have yellow fish out. I do have a purple fish, and I do have a red fish free, so I could move them around with enough tile manipulation as well. But either way, I think this is good. That's a good spot, because what this does is satisfy that. It would be fish of different colors. On that note, because these are fish of different colors, I am going to flip this tile and complete it, which is a green coral, but because it's fish of a different color, and I have a green fish here, well, this green fish isn't going to stick around, though, so maybe I free it up so I can put purple in this spot. Yeah, I like that. Put the green fish there. Now I can put a different color fish on this coral here. So I'm 2 of the 3 away from being done with this fish requirement. Okay. Draw back up. Oh, and I got a seashell rather for completing that tile. Okay. This is a chill little pattern game, or little puzzle game. I like it. I like it a lot. That's my first impression. You're hearing it live. Okay. Okay, this is getting spicy. Let's take a closer look, give you guys a little bit up close view as to what we've got going on here. What we're working on is getting this done. We got to get that flipped, but to do that, we've got fish here. This is almost done. I need another purple fish right here. So that might be what we draw this time around. To get that purple fish in position. I could move a purple fish instead and finish that. But if I do that, then I'll get this guy scored. So I think we need to get another project on the go, is what it is. Trying to see. Getting this one is not going to help me. Getting this one will help me. You can double up the points on it. This one I'm just ignoring completely. And on this one I will too, because they're just really difficult tiles to get. I might even wipe the row. But before I do that, I'm going to grab this tile. So if I get that, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, let's get this combo. So I grabbed a red fish and this other of the same tile here. So we're just going to face it the other direction over there. So now I'm scoring for the same combination on both of these. But this red fish, I need this red fish right here. And I'm going to pay 2. Am I? Am I going to pay 2 though? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to pay 2 shells to move this purple fish from here to here. And that completes this. So that flips this over, that's 7. We're now going to move in that purple fish. He's right there. That then completes this requirement. So by the way, I earned a seashell for that completion. Now, this sea life wanted 4 of the same color coral in these 2 directions. I've now completed that. So this one is done. He flips over and I get another seashell, which now means I could spend those 2 to move another fish. I think I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to move this fish over here for these 2 seashells. So now I'm out of shells, but not here, there. So now all I need is a purple, and this one is done. I did all of that in one turn because I completed, I got seashells, I completed, I got seashells, I spent those shells and moved those over there. So yeah, it's just kind of rolled and snowballed, which is really cool. It's a good feeling. Okay. Okay. Let's refill. Green fish. And we're pulling from the sea life bag. Okay. Still no yellow fish. Oh, no, I guess I don't need a yellow fish. I just need to move a purple. But I don't need to move. I can just get this. I think this is going to be the extent of our coral this game, this right here, because I just cut it off by putting that one there. But that's okay. This will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 if I can get it. So let's get that. Let's get this one in. We'll take this combination, purple fish and coral tile. I hate this tile though. Do I want to? I don't have any seashells, so if I want the purple fish, I have no choice. God. At least it's worth 9 victory points if I get it done. I'm not going to do myself any favors, but okay, well, I'm putting the purple fish here, even though I'm really shooting myself in the foot for that one, because it completes this tile. So watch this. This flips over. It is now complete. A fish has to move in. It cannot be the same color as these 2, so it's got to be one of these 2 fish. I have 2 of them available, both of them, so I'm not going to really hurt myself either way. I think we're going to move this yellow fish in. Yellow fish have not come out a whole lot for some reason. So I think, I don't know. I need both of these reds. Oops. I need both of these reds possibly for here. I don't need them for this tile. I mean, you need the yellows for this tile. So I'm going to move one of my yellows in. It's fine. So I have now, importantly, I have now completed these 2 as well. So I've got a seashell for completing this coral. So that's done. Now these 2 both complete at the same time because they're the exact same tile faced both directions. So they're both looking at the same set of criteria. Purple, green, yellow is not the same color. So these both are done. They both flip over. And I get 2 more seashells. So now I have 3. I only have 1 coral that's not done. So maybe I spend 2 to move a fish. Yeah, I'll spend 2 and I will move this red fish over here. And now we refill. Or, yeah, I'll refill first because I might not want to wipe a row depending on what we get. Oh, we'll get another yellow fish. That's good. And a coral tile. Okay. All right. Get a drink of water here. Almost done. I haven't talked about how the game ends. The game ends when there are 4 open spaces anywhere left on the game, on the board. So I have 7 available spaces right now. So the game's going to be over in 3 turns. And then we'll have to figure out scoring. I'm just going to double check if that's still true in the solo mode. Pretty sure. Yep. Okay. Cool. Just making sure that in solo mode it is the case. I haven't used our lionfish card in solo at all. I'm just going to quickly glance at it, make sure I'm not like missing a trick. Whenever you need to spend a seashell, you may instead draw a random fish from the fish pouch and place it in the lionfish card. This can be done at any time during the game, as many times as you like. When placing a fish on the lionfish card, place the first 2 fish in the 2 empty spaces at the top of the card, and any additional fish should be placed in the section below. And so the section below is the ones where each fish in there costs me 2 victory points. So in other words, you only want to do that twice. But that's cool because it also means I can basically get seashells a little easier. I can get 2 more seashells by doing it that way. So he's a predator fish, so he's eating fish essentially. Oh, let's recheck our. Yep, okay, we have since completed it. We are zoomed in on the player board. Good. So I'll come over here. We'll take another look. We have since completed. Do we have 5 of the same color? We do have 5 of the same color, and we have 4 different corals. So we'll take the one of higher value. 4 different coral is now done, so we'll take that. So those will be our 2 kind of sea turtle expansion scoring for this game. The nesting, what do they call it? Nesting season. So that's nesting season. Okay. We're doing okay. We're doing all right. It might be time to wipe the sea life board. I think it is. And I'm going to burn a fish on the sea lion card to do it. I don't want to burn a seashell right now. So I'm going to draw a random fish and stick it. Of course, it's a red fish. Those are harder to find, but there we go. So we're going to wipe the sea life board. Just tired of looking at some of those. I want to see 5 new ones. Oh, that's new. 3 coral that are not the same color in one direction. I don't have the room to place that right now, or I would. Is that a hermit crab? That might be a hermit crab. Oh, okay. Was that worth doing? I don't know. Two fish of the same color in this direction. I can do that right now simply by placing that tile down right here. I think I'm going to. Green fish. I need a green fish. Yeah, that's a great combo. We're going to grab the seahorse. And we're going to put the seahorse right here. That's good. So the seahorse wants 2 fish of the same color. I have these 2 fish of the same color in this line. So that's immediately done. But before I do that, I'm going to place the fish that I got. I'll put that fish right here. But so now we flip this over, and it's done. Now for flipping over this tile, I get a seashell. And I'm going to spend 2 seashells, both the one I just got and the one I had. And we're going to move this green fish here. No, am I? Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not yet. I'm going to move this purple out though. We'll put it over here to give it access to these other spaces, just in case. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm not going to put him there. I'm going to put him here, and I'll talk about why. It's an endgame scoring thing. Okay, but what that did, though, is there a reason to finish this? I don't. Oh yeah, because it'll help him with the barrier reef if I get it done. And it's 9 points on its own, so we should try if we can. Okay. Well, we're out of shells and there's nothing else to do, so we're going to refill. We only have 1 more tile to place and then the game is over. No, 2 more tiles to place and then the game is over. Oh, 4 fish of the same color anywhere on the board. That is a good tile to get right now. I can do that right away. And I need another green fish, so that marries up real nicely with my needs. So we're going to get this done right away. It's going to come in. I'm going to get that. I'm going to put it right there. This green fish will come right here. This will flip over because I have 2 fish or 4 fish of the same color already on the board somewhere. Now I get I get a seashell for that. And I'm also going to use my last lionfish. I'm going to feed the lionfish 1 more fish from the bag. And it is a yellow fish, of course it is. And that lets me get another seashell. So I need 2. I'll spend both, the one that I got from the lionfish and that one. And I'm going to move my last fish. I'm going to move this red fish here, which satisfies this tile. So this flips over, 9 victory points into the game. I need to put a fish on it. I guess I will put a green fish. Yeah, we'll put this green fish. No, we'll put this red fish on it. Like that. Okay, that got me another seashell because I just completed that tile. Okay. This will be the last move of the game, and we'll see how the scoring goes. I think I'm going to do okay for my first game. I think. Can I get anything done? I don't think so. Is it worth doing is the question. I think it might actually be worth doing. I don't have, Okay, go with me on this. Is it possible? No, it's going the wrong direction, isn't it? I can't, oh, bummer. That could have worked. This could still work if I go here. Yeah, that could still work. Okay, so I'm going to spend a seashell to draw out of order. So I'm going to not draw a pair. I'm just going to draw them from different columns. I'm going to draw that red fish in that tile. And then I'm going to flip this tile over because it's immediately done. And that goes there. And then I will move in. It doesn't really matter, but just because it's fun, I'll move in this purple one. No, I won't. I'll move in the red one. Okay, and I get a seashell back for that. I could get a net 1 point if I do something squirrely. So I think I'm going to. It's a net 1 point. It seems a little dumb on its face, but it's not. I'm going to feed the lionfish 1 more fish because I want 1 more seashell. so I can move a fish. But that's going to mean I'm going to take a 2-point negative by feeding him an extra fish. That's okay because I'm going to earn 3 points for the move. So I'm going to get a single point. So I'm going to spend the 1 seashell I have and the 1 that I get from the lionfish, and I'm going to move a fish. I'm going to move this fish. I think it's actually a net. I think it's a net 0 at the end of the day. Maybe this wasn't the smarter play, but that's fine. And we're going to move it down here. Yeah. Because I know something about endgame scoring, and it's about the adjacent completed coral to fish on your board. You'll see it in just a second. So, okay. I think that's the end of the game right now. Let's take a look one more time at end of game. Game concludes as soon as there are only 5 empty spaces left on each player's board. This rule ensures that all players have equal number of turns. When the game ends, calculate the scores on the score pad. The player with the highest score wins. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So let's get to scoring, because this is where this game gets really interesting. So I will try to reach over and do it here. So this is S for shub. Right. Let's move. Where do we want to move to? Well, I'll move off the board for 1. So this first one for scoring is sea turtles. Let me grab this here and see if it shows me where it's at here. Solo mode, solo play, ranking, figures. Okay, so for sea turtles, we're just looking at the amount of points we got from sea turtle objectives. We got 14 from these two, 10 and 4. So we're going to put 14 points right there. So now it's looking at the red victory card. So we're going to look at the red victory card. That's this guy. Put that aside over there so you can see it maybe. Can you see them both now? Yeah, okay. So this is 2 points per coral involved in my largest coral reef. So let's take a look. My largest coral reef is this section here, because diagonal for this doesn't count. Only orthogonal adjacent tiles count. So these are not joined, but this section here is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2, 14 points for the largest contiguous colossal reef. 14. Okay, that's that card. We're going to go the blue card now, which is Bountiful Caves. 3 points per completed sea life located within the inner 10 spaces of your ocean. That's why you noticed I was placing a lot of my sea life, not all of it, but a lot of it within this intersection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within the intersection is 18 points. 3 each. 18 points. Okay, now we go row by row, and we look at the ocean board and the number of points on all of the tiles on each row. Pretty simple. So the top row, pretty empty for me, except for this one, which is 9 points. So we'll put 9 points in the top row. Now the second row, we'll go 5 points, 5 points, 7 points. So 17 points plus 7, so 14 plus 10 is 24 points in the next row. Okay. Next row down is 6 plus 5 plus 10, so 21 points. Plus 7 is 18 points. Next row down is 5. Well, let's see. No, 7 is 14, plus 6 is 20, plus 5 is 25, plus 7 is 32 points. That was a good row for me. 32. Bottom is 14 plus 6 is 20, plus 5 is 25. Not bad. Pretty decent spread there. Okay, and now we have, that's interesting. What are those? Let's see if I can get to scoring. Yeah. What are those? 3. Let's see. Yeah. 2 victory points per differing completed sea life tile. So it is 2 victory points for each different sea life tile you completed. Oh, diversity. Okay, got it. So if we look at the board, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sea life. Okay, so that is 2 per different. So that's 10 points. There's 10 different pieces of wildlife, so I only got half of them. I don't feel too great about that, but it is what it is. And then incomplete fish. Each incomplete fish earns 1 victory point for every adjacent completed coral tile. That's why I move fish around at the end. So if I look at all my completed, those are the ones that are full color. All of these are full color, they're all completed. So any incomplete fish adjacent to these full color coral tiles, those are going to score me points. So we'll go top to bottom. We've got 1 fish here adjacent to these 2, so that's 2 victory points. We've got 1 fish here adjacent to these 3, so that's a total of 5. Here we've got 3 adjacent fish. This one is, here is 8. Here is 11. And then here is 14. So then the bottom row, we have these 2. This is 2 adjacent, 14 plus 2 is 16. And then this has adjacent of 3, is 19 points. So I did pretty decent, I think, on adjacent fish. So I'm going to fire up my calculator real quick. Give me one moment. Go that way so you can see that. Okay. Okay, so we have 14 plus 14 plus 18 plus 9 plus 24 plus 18 plus 32 plus 25 plus 10 plus 19. 183 points for the Shubinator. 183. I had to write that at an angle, so sorry. Okay, so since we're playing with the nesting season expansion, we have to use their scoring charts, not the main games. So if we look, I have 183 points. So that means if I come in here and I put this on camera somehow, I'll try. There we go. I think you should be viewable. 183 puts me in the middle, puts me here at Wave Rider. Not too bad. I'm a little above average. I'm Wave Rider at 183 points. I feel pretty good about that, especially for my first solo game, especially my first ever game of this. Like, look, I mean, this is pretty great. I'm kind of into it. I normally I normally don't like adjacency puzzles, especially ones that are really constrained. But this is not a very constrained puzzle, and I feel like one of the things that I really lack with both polyomino games and adjacency puzzles is agency. Usually, it's like I'm stuck. You're telling me if I put this here, then I'm kind of doomed, and once it's here, I'm screwed. I can't do anything about it. I usually feel worse about it when I'm in a really tight grid of 3x3 or 3x4 or something like that, because there's just not enough room to work around my mistakes or work around a bad draw. Let's say I got something that I thought was going to work out, and then the supporting elements that I need in order to score big on it just never show up. That's what I really hate about those kinds of games. But what I like about games where the grid is big enough and where there's enough flexibility to move things around is that I can always shuck and jive. I can always move things around the board. Try to be as smart as possible with the thing that lets you have some flexibility, like the seashells in this game, to maximize their benefit for my own gain. If I can do that, then I feel like I got a game. It wasn't just like the game abused me and then it was over and I didn't get anything good out of it. This was of my own making. The grid is big enough where I can give myself space. I can try to I can calculate out the best placement for things that give me flexibility later. This gives me that, this space to move, plus the flexibility, but not so much flexibility that there's not really a challenge anymore. But the flexibility to kind of get things in and move things around the board and make it work for me. And in the case where you saw me kind of get that combo of complete this tile, get some seashells, use the seashell, move a fish, complete another tile, roll, 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 all in one turn, those are those big build-up turns that are very satisfying and really make for a great game experience. So for me, this delivers that. This is deceptive. It's very easy to learn how to play. At first, I was really daunted by the different scoring conditions on the tiles, but once I figured out that it was all variations on a theme, it became very easy to parse. And all the tiles score even if you don't successfully complete them. I managed to successfully complete everything on the board in this time around. But even if I didn't, I'm not screwed. So like, that's what I'm talking about. I just feel like there's just so much flexibility. Oh, I get -2 points. I forgot about -2. So it's 181. I should do that. It's still qualified for Wave Rider, but it's -2. So it's 181. That's really the score. Sorry, correction. Anyway, that's really the kind of game that I'm looking for when I play this. It's super fast to learn how to play. The art is gorgeous. All the mechanics make sense. I actually feel like the fish are swimming around the reef and looking for places to call home. And I'm creating a bountiful coral reef that attracts a wildlife. And that is not an easy thing to do in what could otherwise be a very abstract feeling game, but it doesn't feel abstract at all. It really doesn't. Especially once you've completed the thing and you get to flip it over and just see the portraits of everything, then it starts to feel less like a mechanical puzzle and more like a living, breathing barrier reef, right? Just the act of flipping them over, getting that tactile reward of seeing, and then the visual reward of seeing that big art in front of you as a reward for doing the mechanical bits of playing the game, makes it feel like a portrait that we've created. I actually have sea life swimming around this board when I'm done. The visual of that is beautiful. I even have sea turtle eggs over here. Right? The visual of this is beautiful. The end result feels like I actually created something that I'm actually happy to look at. So anyway, there you go. I mean, Shallow Sea and the expansion Nesting Season. The Kickstarter version includes a little mini expansion too. I didn't include it here just for simplicity's sake. I figured adding some of the non-starter game material plus the expansion of Nesting Seasons was enough complexity for my first game. But this is nice. This is just nice. There's enough game here that keeps my interest and makes me want to keep playing it, but not so much game that I'm going to brain burner over it and really struggle. And the setup is, once you've understood how tiles work, how the tiles distribution works, the setup is not really that big of a slog. Learning it is going to take a lot more energy than actually doing it over and over again. So I think it's great. I think it is great, and it fits in a nice compact table space. It's not a big table hog at all. Pick it up. If this is your kind of theme, it certainly is my kind of theme. Pick this one up. This is fantastic, and it makes me feel good to play it. So on a nice, lazy Sunday like this, what more can you ask for? Thanks for joining me. That's all I have today, is a nice, chill game of Shallow Sea. Tune in next week for something completely different. All right, take care, everybody. See you later.